We'll go live quickly because I want to go hiking. Hi, Aaron. I have another request to make as it's partly related to a previous request I've made. I'll fill you in. Previously, I wrote in to ask for advice as to become a teacher due to my probation period at my job at the time expiring. Thankfully, before making the final decision, I asked for clarification for the role, which I described as admin work. As it turned out, the admin role is in fact a software engineering role where once every several weeks, I get to send out a couple emails and occasionally manage other people. I decided not to try teaching as I can always try and fall back on it later if this job falls through. Though if it does fall through, I'm hoping I have enough experience to work elsewhere in my state in a place. The main issue I'm having is that I feel am extremely incompetent in this position. Imposter syndrome. I've attempted to work unpaid overtime before to try and compensate for my lack of skill and experience, but I'm told by my boss to quit doing that, which I find crazy. Why wouldn't you? Okay, all right. I'm going to explain. This isn't the overall question, but this is a specific thing that boomers specifically, but bosses in general. How could I put it? No job is ever going to challenge you. Generally, like there's 2% of you that my job challenges. Okay, all right, you're the exception. And for reasons that you don't understand, and maybe the owners and the bosses don't understand, they're like, oh, stop doing that. Stop working more. Here's the great thing. Okay, you're the boss. It doesn't matter. I've found that bosses in general prefer obedience over competence. Like they don't care about your potential. They don't even care if you screw up. Just do exactly as they tell you. Because one, in a legitimate sense, they have the bigger picture, and you may think you're screwing up. Like, I don't care if he screws up. That's only going to cost us $2 per hour. If he doesn't do what I say and do it the way I say, he's going to cost us $50 an hour. So you don't have this bird's eye view of what the managers do. But 90% of that case, it's just them being idiots and not understanding what you're capable of. This is why the majority of companies go bankrupt. Did you notice that the majority of companies inevitably get bought out or go bankrupt? And the ones that get bought out, those conglomerates also go bankrupt. I mean, everyone's a moron. Everyone's pretty much a moron. So don't be surprised when your bosses say moronic things. I mean, yeah, logically, yeah. Wouldn't you want this person to become proficient? Wouldn't you? You're getting free labor. You know, if I was a boss, I'm like, you want to work extra? Go ahead, man. But for whatever reason, they said, no, don't do it. And it's great. You don't have to know the why. It just is what is. Same thing in the military, you know, private, corporal, attack that hill. You don't have to ask why. It's not your job. Not just attack the damn hill. Don't work more. Try less. You got it, boss. And in corporate America, even though you're not in America, that's very common. You're just dealing with truly stupid people pretty much everywhere you go. And just because they're like 10 years older than you and got some gray hair doesn't make them smarter. They got to that position by doing exactly what they were told. That's it. So there you go. University did not prepare me at all for this, for my career, partly because my degree was not in engineering, but mostly it is for the university, from the university using outdated software such as C++ 99, a version of C++ that is 18 years behind the industry standard. Utter joke that 18 years behind industry is education. Well, yeah, that's colleges and universities. You remember I told you about older people being stupid and morons? There you go. Academia is full of them. Holy cow. That's like the dumbest of them all. I'm not even being, funny. I really mean that. If you're a college professor, you are a effing moron. Shut up. Get you completely out of touch hack. Get the hell out of my face. Frankly, I'm extremely worried that in another 4 months, they won't renew the contract again. I've talked to my boss about this, and he has noted that I'm very productive, but get lots of defects. Okay. So there you go. You got to improve your quality production. My question is, have you or anyone else been in this sort of position before? Did they handle it? I had a plan of considering buying a house sometime after probation had ended up if I kept my job. How would I handle the case where as soon as I get my mortgage, my job vanishes? Okay, well, one, you don't get a house or take on a huge liability unless you have a stable career. All right. That's at minimum. If you really want to know how you handle this, you really want to know how you solve this problem 100%, you become self-employed and you have multiple streams of income. But Aaron, that's hard. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But I want a house now. Not going to happen. Going to take you years, maybe even a decade to get enough diversified sources of revenue to come in that you could eliminate nearly all fear of losing your income and not being able to keep your house. And so, yeah, that's the only way. But otherwise, yeah, everyone faces that problem. Anyone can lose their job. I mean, imagine, you're not even that bad of a situation. You don't have no kids or wife or anything like that. Could you imagine if you're the standard American suburbanite couple, your wife brings in a joke of a part-time salary, $25,000 working part-time reading to special ed kids. And then she's got like $90,000 in student loan debt. And then we have to have an SUV and a boat. Oh, I've seen it, man. I've seen it. I have seen it. I had an agent in the field give me all the inside gossip of all the people with all the pretty houses. And they were living paycheck to paycheck. No 401k, no IRA. All right. Though you don't want to be that person. But there's inevitably always a risk. Yeah, you could lose your job. That's why you have an emergency savings fund of 6 months living expenses. That's why you have a room that maybe you could rent out to a buddy. That's why you make sure you got a good down payment and that the mortgage is affordable. That's why you buy the right house. That's why you don't buy more house than you can afford. Because here's the other thing, okay? Yes, a mortgage and a house is a big responsibility. Yes, well, if I lose the job? Well, you still have to pay rent no matter what. So in a certain technical sense, whether it's rent or a mortgage payment, it's the same risk. You have to come up with a monthly expense, a monthly amount of money for lodging. And so that should kind of assuage your concern because you're already facing this risk now. It's just that you got, what's it called? A lease as opposed to a mortgage. So yeah, that's well, and one, try your best. This is why you always try your best at everything. So, it's not you. That's one reason. But then if, hopefully it helps stabilize your employment. And then, maybe you get full time. But man, yeah, I'd be if I was a bachelor, I probably would never buy a house. If I would do it all the way, I wouldn't buy a house. I would just bought real estate investment trust and just lived in a 1-bedroom or a single room apartment. That's what I would have done. So until you get stable in your income, whether that's like, oh yeah, you found your employer, they love you, you love them. It's like a great committed marriage. Like you actually know this woman is not going to stab you in the back. This woman is going to love you, not get fat. Okay, that's exceptionally rare. Same exceptionally rare chances of you finding an employer like that. But it can happen. Okay, cool. And maybe you get a house. And you actually know where to live then because all the employers there, I should probably live there. But generally speaking, the way you deal with employment instability is you make sure you're self-employed. That's the number one way to do it. So work your best, get indispensable skills. Oh, you're a little insecure about your skills. Go get more. Become proficient at a modern day version of C++ or C# or whatever else is in demand. Make sure you don't make mistakes. Have a side gig. God, I'm trying to think. It's been 24 years. I've always had more than 2 jobs, not 2 full-time jobs. I've always had more than one source of income. Maybe it was part-time. Maybe it wasn't a lot, but God almighty, since 22, I've always had 2 sources of income. Always. And usually more like, 24, I bought my rental. Probably since 24 for the past 22 years, it's been 3 or more. Well, that's not fair. You should be able to work on. Hey, tell me how the nice world works. Tell me how La La Land works. In the meantime, in the real world, thank you to the incompetent boomers, right? And the welfare state where we got to fork over half our income to a bunch of lazy parasites who don't want to work, right? You get to have multiple sources of income, and that makes it stable. You don't have to worry about this anymore. All right, any super chats? Yeah, where were you last night, Doc? Every subscriber over the dock. He's at 699 subs, only 301 to go. Swallow Blue, $5. Dow Jones is now down 950 points as new root beer float emerged from the factory. Man, I'm so glad I don't pay attention to news anymore. What I remember when 950 points was big. That's nothing on the stock market now. A new variant? Is that what it is? A new variant has come out, or they got a new treatment? And that's what it is. It's a treatment. It doesn't cure anything. It's just a treatment. All right, there we go. All right, questions, answers, AsselConsulting.com. See you guys later.